So yeah, it was a relief for me, a massive relief to be told that I wasn't mad and it wasn't all in my head. I think I realised my experience with periods was different when I was in my 30s, actually. I didn't have any idea that what I was experiencing from starting my periods at the age of 10 was any different to any other woman. We didn't talk about periods in primary school when I started, and we certainly didn't talk about periods in high school. So I just thought it was normal. And I think one of the reasons for that was because my mum had painful periods. And so I was just made to believe that it was something that every woman had. So until my 30s, and, you know, where I was a little bit more open and talking to friends about periods and how much I was suffering, did I realise that what I was going through wasn't normal. I have been to the GP, oh my gosh, hundreds of times with regards to my period issues. So I'd had investigations, internal scans, all sorts of different things, and no diagnosis for endometriosis at that point in time. So I was put on the contraceptive pill for most of my teenage years and early 20s. I had little stints where I came off it and the pain was so bad, and then went back to the GPs and they were, just told me, right, just go back on the pill again. And I didn't really question it. I should have. It wasn't until I got to my 30s, I had my children, and decided, that I needed to come off the contraceptive pill so my daughters could see what a period was. Otherwise, what would they know? I came off the pill and the pain was horrific. I'd never experienced that kind of pain before, and so that led me to go and start investigating again. I went to my GP a number of times demanding I see a gynecologist, and I was then referred. The gynecologist asked for scans and the scans came back clear. A year after that, I went back to my GP and said, this is not good enough. There is something wrong. This is not normal. I'm in pain through the whole month. And it's all related to, my pelvic area and my uterus. So help me. And so I was referred again to a gynecologist. That gynecologist did some initial investigations and said, I think there's something not right. Let's get you to a person who specialises in this for scanning. At that point, while I was having the scan, they said to me, we think we can see endometriosis in there. There's things that probably glued together and adhesions, as well as cysts on the ovaries. And I was like, wow, okay. This was all at the same time as me going through my breast cancer scans, because I was asked to have all sorts of investigations by that gynecologist. And I thank her for that, because they found early stage breast cancer, which delayed my diagnosis or my final treatment for endometriosis at that point. So the actual final confirmation came when I had my laparoscopy in December 2019, just after my 40th birthday. And my gynecologist knew how much I'd been suffering. And he waited for me to come into recovery. And he came over to me and told me that I wasn't mad, and that they had found something, and it was endometriosis, and it was a pretty spectacular case, as he called it. I was massively relieved to be told I had endometriosis. For so many years, I was made to believe that it was all in my head, and that it was just something that women had to deal with. It was a massive turning point for me. It gave me a confidence that I wasn't mad. It affects you massively when you are told for years and years that it's all in your head. Firstly, for anyone who isn't diagnosed with endometriosis, trust your body. If you think there's something not right, then it's not right. Women are great judges of their own bodies and understanding what's going on. Push for answers. Continue to push. If you feel that you're not getting the answers from your GP, reach out to Endometriosis UK. Reach out to communities that are easily accessible to see what advice you can get. I think just don't stop. Don't give up. Things have changed. Some things are better, others are worse. So I think it's really important to remember there is no cure for endometriosis. And despite me having had excision surgery with a specialist, I'm still not cured. I'm still not okay. I'm still suffering. The healing is not linear from this disease. It's very difficult, and so much more has to be done around research. And I think that's the only way. It's impacted every part of my life. My children have had to deal with seeing their mum in copious amounts of pain on a regular basis, which is very scary for them. And I think as a mother, one of the most important things for me is that I never want them to suffer in the same way that I have. So I think there is a realization for me. And what also the diagnosis did is push me to find others out there who are suffering like I am. I've always tried to do good through my social channels, and I started out actually as a nail artist. But as my life progressed and my health issues progressed, I'd say that completely changed what I wanted to share on my social media. I was massively hesitant at first to share anything about my personal life, the fact that I deal with pain on a daily basis. Does anyone really want to see horrible things on social media? Does anyone really want to see what real pain and chronic illness is like? I used to question myself. And so I wouldn't share everything. I certainly didn't share very much prior to my diagnosis, that's for sure. But once I had my diagnosis and I saw how many women were being impacted by this on social media, so just, you go on and you just search for the hashtags, 1 in 10, endometriosis. And wow. It opened my eyes to a community I never knew existed. I wish I'd actually found that community prior to my diagnosis, when I was younger. I think it would have helped. Oh, and I can't even start to tell you how many people I've met through social media that suffer and are like sisters to me now. It's crazy. People you've never met in person. And so it's been fantastic. And I think the more we do with that, the better it will be, the more awareness we can raise. So I'm trying to do as much as I can through my Instagram and my social media channels to try and help raise that awareness and work to raise money for Endometriosis UK and endometriosis charities so that there can be more research. And I think social media can be so powerful in that way, and we need to use it for the greater good. And I hope to be able to do that and raise more awareness for things such as endometriosis.